There we go. Wow, that's been a pain. We've had YouTube just would not connect. I had to like redo the stream about 4 times, and then the camera decided to glitch as well. But I think we're back on. Don't know why that's been so much trouble. Can everybody hear the audio and everything seems to be streaming as it normally does, or do we still have issues? And of course, got a phone call in the middle of it. Oh, face cam's missing as well. 1 second. Got the wife calling me, telling me she's cold to put heating on. I've told the bugger off. Right, we have in a Game Gear for diagnostics full recap. Needs the power board. Oh, I replaced the power board with a new one. Unit powers on, occasional lines on screen, no sound. So basically, doesn't sound like it's good at the minute. So let's just take a look at this. I don't usually do the basic repairs or the Game Gears, but we might as well. You guys seem to like the Game Gears, so let me just make sure I don't expose any customer details off the box. Have a look what we've got here. Right then, did you guys say, I'd probably missed it as well, yeah, obviously I presume the audio and everything's working fine, and the stream's working okay, and the chat, let me just send a test chat message as well. Yes, this is our cap kit, power repair kit. What's there? All our cap kits, we won't need them. Oh, it doesn't. Oh, he wants a recap, so send the cap kit in to be recapped. Keep that out of the way. Right, so power board. This is just a cheap, literally the cheapest Chinese power board you can buy. I've literally made the perfect product for this. So instead of having to buy this, like, you know, these cheap power supplies from nobodies and no factories, I've made the power core. So this is literally, the power core is cheaper than the cheapest power board you can get on AliExpress. That's why I've made this, so you have a really cheap alternative. So we probably won't even use or trust this. So we're just going to put that to one side and give it the customer back. I might gift him one of these anyway, because that's kind of the whole point of this, is we want to use that. This soundboard's absolutely knackered as well. It's missing, well, that inductor there is going to be destroyed, so we're not going to probably bother. That's rotted and hanging off, so let me just show you this. If the overhead is working, of course the overhead's not working either. Let's activate that. There we go. This stream has definitely been a pain to get started. So look at all the rot on here. We zoom in. So you've got all this electrolyte here, all this yellow. And then look at all the rot and this lift on here. I don't know whether the customer's tried to remove it, but this board is just not in a good state. Inside there is going to be bad. So we're not even going to bother with the power board or the soundboard. We're going to just move these to one side, replace that with the power core, this with a clean amp if we need to. I don't even have a clean amp on me, so I might have to grab one of them. But let's start with, I guess, try and power this up. Let's just see what happens. Yeah, I think the title was popping up and down on this as well as Game Boy Color Repair. I've had major issues getting it to stream on YouTube, and it seems to have defaulted back to an old title. But we're doing a Game Gear, and then probably, I haven't got much time. I've got maybe an hour and a half before I need to do tea. So we'll get through this Game Gear. Depending on how quick this is, we'll look at a Neo Geo AES if we can. So power board first. Benefit of that is we can just plug in a USB, and attempt to power. I doubt the screen's going to work, so we could do with audio, but all I want to do is get a general feel for what's going on with this Game Gear first, and then we'll probably recap it before we do anything further anyway. So plug that in. When you've got the stock Game Gear as well, just watch out because there's 400 to 1,000 volts running through this board. This backlight is a standard mains fluorescent backlight, so literally thousands of volts. So just, if you don't know what you're doing, don't go probing around on these. Yeah, so nothing, no contrast. You've got red light boot, which is a good sign. Flickers on there, so maybe. Let's see if we get anything with Sonic. Yeah, so the customer's stating flickering screen, which it does get, but let's just start with the recap. You don't tend to go much further with these until you've recapped them, because that's kind of the starting point of all Game Gears. So let's start with that. It's been a long while since I've just worked on a basic Game Gear. Last time I did this, I blew stuff all over the place. So I think one of the videos I put out on YouTube, I was like, oh, this is how you do recaps with hot air. It was meant to just be a quick demo video. And if you play back the video, about 7 caps and 7 resistors just fly off all over the place as I'm doing it. I wasn't really paying much attention to the actual board. It was more of a sort of a demo of how to remove caps, and I was literally not paying attention to what was going on, and just like chips were flying off everywhere. So it's quite comical to watch back. So like you'd see just like one of these resistors just go and just disappear. Yeah, I'm just going to do a quick recap now. So I'm just hot airing these old ones off. We can try with a no cap boot as well, so you just won't get a working screen, but you might get audio. So that's what we'll maybe go for. And I don't think there'll be much. Zoom out a little bit actually. Or shall I swap to the overhead and zoom in? That makes more sense instead of digital zoom. Oh, there we go. Much better when you're not digitally zooming. Temps don't matter too much. This is just 480 Celsius, 80% airspeed, so just the standard generic airspeed at the minute. Yeah, all I've seen me doing this Game Gear, even when I'm not meant to be doing Game Gear. This was meant to be an Amiga 1200 and a Neo Geo. This customer's just chasing for an update on this, so I figured I'd just go for getting this looked at quickly, because Zach's flooded with prestige builds. We've got like 30 consoles to build, so this one's going to sit for another week otherwise. So I figured why not just jump on a stream and quickly try and fix this. The problem with working around this now, we're going to start, you can see we've already started to touch this plastic. It doesn't matter too much, but these ones, because they're close, and we're maybe trying to preserve the screen, and this one around all the plastic, I'm just going to cut these ones off, and then we can clean the pads up after. So that's that one off, that one off, and then this one is the other side, so lift up, put underneath, and then this big one. This one's the most awkward one to get in. Even to cut, it's awkward to get in. Oh, you didn't even see that on camera anyway, but that's that one cut off. So let's just bin all of these remaining caps now. We've got 2 the other side as well. And then I'll probably go for a no cap boot. So you can boot the Game Gear with no caps on at all, but if you're using an original screen, 2 of the caps that are for the contrast circuit are obviously needed. So with them not being on, I think it's the, I might be wrong, but I think it's the 1 microfarads down here are needed. So we won't see a screen until we put them on. Get this off. Actually, we can just hot air them off. Actually, we'll cut this one off because it's close. So this one, right by the light, will cut off. Sorry, we've might as well just cut them off now. We've got the cutters out. Clean up the pads. That's it. So now I need a clean amp. Otherwise we can't hear anything. Let me just grab a clean amp. There's a spare. We need one speaker, spare. So all them can go in that tub for now. Speaker on there, and then we will power this. Bit of IPA for luck. And then power board. So let's see where we're at now. I reckon, to be honest, I think we're going to get game boot. That's on. I don't think we'll, well, obviously we won't get screen 100% because we don't have those caps on, but let's see. There we go, fixed. Yeah, perfect. So it can't even handle power. So that, the fact it's crackling, is the power and audio ribbons. So let's let it load. If you keep it still, it works. And I'll just let it start playing Sonic. There you go. So now if we move it, you can see it's this. So basically that's these ribbons here, these grey ones. And that is part of why, when we do like the RepCBs, we made brand new power and audio ribbons. So we sell these separately, but I can just rob one of these. So the audio needs that on. I'm not too concerned about swapping that for now though. So let's just carry on with the recap, see if we can get the original screen working. And then if so, we'll swap the ribbons, and this is probably good. But a working screen is very rare these days on Game Gears, certainly the ones I buy. To get original working screens now is just getting rarer and rarer because obviously everyone's repairing them now, and there's a lot less in the wild in good quality. Let's get this extractor on. And the cap kits. Alright, so if you're not sure where the caps go, then I can chuck on, and I'll probably go to this view and move that up. So if you're not sure where the caps go on Game Gears, then we have this guide on retro6.wiki in the Game Gear section, and basically a photo of which boards. This is a 2A6, so it's this one, and then you can see color-coded, basically the 5 red, so here, which is the top one we're doing here. The one below it, the 2 at the side, and 1 by the connector are all 100 microfarad, so they're the ones we'll start with. And these are the ceramic cap kits we sell, that originally nobody believed would work when I first started doing the Game Gear work. This is one of the things that people doubted that would work, basically. And then now everybody uses ceramics and tries to clone the kits and get the specs of the caps because they realise they do actually work. So if you want to support the people that made it originally, aka me, you can buy our cap kits. They only cost a few quid, but it literally, that's what supports our business, is people buying the components from us, as opposed to just, you know, making their own kits. That's literally why we survive, because customers actually buy some stuff from us. That's the most awkward one out of the way first. Then we have the one here. thanks, glad you're liking the repair. This one's been obviously pretty easy. This is why I don't normally work on the Game Gears. The repair side is not that hard to diagnose, but it's nice sometimes to just do a bit of simple work. The one next to that will be a 10 after, so we'll leave him. And then these two here will be the ones that are needed for, well, pretty much everyone in this area is needed for the original screen. So if you're not using the original screen, most of these caps aren't even needed. I did make a note or a diagram somewhere to tell you which ones you don't need, but if you're not sure, you just look at the schematic and look in the LCD backlight section, and just look at all the caps in the backlight section, and they're the ones you don't need to install. They're not even needed because they're all just to do with this original screen that, like, you know, the modern clean screen doesn't use. The last 100 is here, so we'll chuck him on. And we put plenty of solder on here and flux, because this is how you clean up them pads, so they have quite a bit of electrolyte on. And by just applying solder with flux in, or additional flux, you clean up them pads. And that is it, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, there's 5, isn't there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh yeah, we've put 5 on. And then I believe that's it for the 5. And then now we can do, if we do the 2 little ones, which are these 2 here. Yeah, they are 2 in the corner. Those are 1 microfarad. I put the other bits there, 1 microfarad. And then all the rest that are remaining are 10, so it's nice and easy if you do it this way around. Thanks, Richard. That's literally what supports us. Like I say, even though I give loads of knowledge away and do all this stuff for free, the business is what covers us, so it's definitely helps when people buy from us, when, you know, we do need to make the money. Rusty is literally sleeping at the minute with the wife. I got a phone call as soon as I started the stream complaining that the cold in the living room, the radiators were broke, so I definitely can't be on too long tonight, because I'll be getting whinged at not only for not making food, but for not keeping them warm. But I'll probably be on tomorrow, and Rusty's always at my feet, so I'll bring him in on stream tomorrow. Realising you can't even see on the vertical there, I'm soldering away off camera. So these are the 2, I'm pretty sure these were the 2 ones that you need to get the original screen working, even if you don't put the other caps on. These are the 2 that make the backlight work, the contrast part of the circuit work. And then finally the 10. Oh yeah, I'll definitely be giving Rusty some fussies later. He's had me nearly all day whinging in the room for food, and then sleeping, then crying for food again. He's been a right pest today. I think we need 4 of them, might be wrong. Got 1 here, 1 here, yeah, I think there's 4. Thanks, Robert. Glad you're liking them. Seem to be getting decent numbers now on the views as well. We've got like 100 and something viewers, but this view count thing up, where's my finger? View count up here, and then obviously the vertical, it's way off. Doesn't make any sense. So The Facebook might be right and the Twitch, but the YouTubes are way off and it doesn't add the TikToks either. So there's like, I think yesterday we had hundreds on TikTok and I didn't even notice. Don't even know if I've got a window open. Let's have a quick look. Yeah, so TikTok, I don't know how many are live. There's been 400 views already, but when you look back after you finish the stream, it was like 100 and some concurrent viewers. And then YouTube, there was, I think the YouTube only accounts for one of the formats because we've got portrait and we've got horizontal and shorts, and I think it doesn't include the viewers of the shorts, and there's way more of them. So it'd be nice to see an actual, you know, a live count that's accurate, because it's quite nice to know, you know, how many people are viewing and if it's growing or not. But yeah, the count there's not that accurate. And for the stream, yeah, we had issues getting YouTube to work, so I stopped and started the stream about 4 times. Then realised it was basically throwing a unauthorised error from YouTube. So then I just signed out of all YouTube, wiped all the accounts, signed back in, and luckily it worked. But there's no way of testing in Streamlabs. You just have to basically go live. So you go live and it goes live on everything else first, and you can't stop it. So it's like it just starts going live on all the platforms. I suppose I could have just unchecked them and tried to go live on YouTube only, but luckily I just signed out and in and it started working. Don't know why it just stopped randomly though. Like no real reason, unless it just times out every now and then. You have to re-authenticate. So last cap, and we'll see if we've got the original screen working. If not, I rarely do much on original screens, just because the time and cost of me working on them is basically just as much as replacing the screen for a clean screen. So short of maybe a quick bit of investigating for trace damage, if the original screens don't work on the Game Gear, then I definitely recommend to the customer just having a clean screen. They can obviously pay for the time if they want to, but it's not something I usually recommend. Oh yeah, you normally find the trace damage is almost always on the cleanest looking boards. You'll get boards that are fluffy and rotted and they're perfectly fine, and then you'll get a completely good looking board that's got internal fractures on the ground planes. I've had that loads. What am I doing? Game, IPA, audio. So we know we had audio already, so this should be just a case of, do we have screen? Hopefully we do. It'd be nice for the customer to have basically a working Game Gear off the bat. Oh, it's looking promising. I think that's a failed game load this time, but that's looking promising. Oh, what a shame. So we have contrast and we have game load, but so you see the contrast, the fact the wheel goes up and down in brightness when I turn the wheel, but there's nothing on screen. So that's slightly unusual. You normally get the opposite. You normally get the contrast doesn't work. Let's just give it a little bit of, zoom out a bit, give this a little bit of hot air. Now, if you're going to work on these screens and you're going to hot air these chips, these are the driver chips that drive the sections of the screen, and this is the line across. Turn your hot air right down to 180, so almost cold for a hot air gun, and 80% airspeed's fine. You can go less, but do this, go just above, so probably you're going to see better from here. You want to go nice and high and just warm those chips up slightly, and if it's going to work, this will flick back into life and you'll see something on screen. But you don't normally see a completely blank screen. If it's going to work, you'd normally see something on screen. So that'd normally have kicked in by now. We can try pushing down on here. Nope, so we could try reflowing the pins on the ribbons. We could also have, what's making me think here we might have something else, is the fact the contrast works perfect and there's nothing on screen. Obviously the power ribbons are bad. I'm just thinking, do we have a bad VDP? So you're getting nothing on screen? Because that is, yeah, that's a maybe. I mean, I can just swap the VDP, but we know what VDPs are like for not working. I could get the oscilloscope out and probe the pins to see if we've got data. Which one do you want me to do? Shall we get the oscilloscope and probe to see if we have data coming out, or shall we just swap the VDP around and see if that's maybe the issue? And I think then if not, it's more than likely going to be a clean screen upgrade for the customer. Yeah, I was using OBS at the start, and I changed from OBS to Streamlabs mainly just because the performance on the PC is way less. So Streamlabs is barely stressing this PC, whereas VDP was VDP. I got VDP in my head. I was reading a note. OBS was destroying the PC performance. I reckon let's just swap the VDP for the sake of it. Why not? Considering it nearly always is that. I think we've learned by now that it may well be that. It's more than likely a dead screen because the original screens, like I say, are very rare to work. But I can't be bothered to set up the scope for now. So let's be lazy and just do a chip swap. And there's also chances that the chip we're swapping are dead, because that happens as well, as we know. But let's just try. I'll probably go up a bit on my temps and make this a little bit faster. What are we reckoning? A bad VDP or a bad original screen? I reckon based on that visual of absolutely nothing on screen, I'm kind of hopeful the screen's good. But it doesn't always mean it is. But all the contrast change means is all of that circuit on the left, so like down here, is working because it's changing from a 0 volt to a negative 20 volt, and that's what adjusts the contrast. So the fact that works, we know the contrast circuit works, and the rest is pretty simple. It's just pins come off this chip, go to the LCD. So it's unlikely you'd see absolutely nothing on screen, is what I'm thinking. If the the LCD, well, you would. If the LCD is completely bad, then yes, you would. But I don't know. I'm leaning towards VDP myself. That's what I'm personally thinking. Looking under that board, it doesn't look like there's any bad traces either, so it rules out, I think, pretty confidently it's going to rule out bad traces. If anywhere, it was going to be over this side. With bad traces, because of all the cap rot, this side's less susceptible, so I reckon it's one of these two. Yeah, nice, I'm glad you discovered us. I've only been streaming for maybe a week or two, on and off. There's no real structure to it at the minute. I've got software work I do several days a week as well, but then I tend to try and jump on stream after, or the days I'm working in here, then I'll just jump on in the middle of the day. Let's try and line that up a little bit better. That is ridiculously bad for alignment. Sod it. We're going to go for the worst aligned VDP ever. I'm just going to leave it where it is and then pull it in after. I don't think there's another issue as well. I've noticed I don't think the TikTok chat's coming through. Let me just bounce over to that in a second as well. So I can see TikTok at the bottom of my screen flicking off with messages I've just noticed, and I'm not even getting them in the multi-stream for some reason. That was part of the reason I literally chose to use Streamlabs for the chat integration, and it's failing me on the TikTok. So everyone on TikTok, I'll read your comments in a second. Let me just finish putting this VDP on, and then while it's cooling, I'll go over the comments. I can see them at the bottom of my screen, I just can't see them on the feed. PSP we don't work on, unfortunately. Nobody likes them. I say nobody, me and Zach, neither of us want to repair those things. So unfortunately that's one of the things we don't touch. Can repair them, there's some info on the wiki, but I don't want to. That looks like he's on. Bit more flux for good luck. Go to there. Right, let me jump on to... Oh yeah, there's tons of messages on TikTok. Scroll to the top. Someone wants a Doom chair. Yep, I debated whether to drop money on it for ages because I think they're like, I don't know what they were, £300-400, they're not cheap, and I'd already got a chair. Is it Noble? Can't remember. It's one of the gaming chairs anyway, but I'd already got one. It's just it didn't have Doom on, and obviously I wanted Doom on, so... and this was at the time when I didn't have much money either. I was struggling with the business and couldn't really afford a Doom chair, but I had to get it. So now it's paid off. Hot air, learning hot air? No, not really. Just a lot of people are afraid with hot air to just go for it and apply heat. And you can literally apply almost all chips, like all surface mount chips you can apply with hot air. No problem. So I just have a go. It's definitely not as hard as people think it is. Yeah, links, I don't think I streamed the links, did I? I did some work on our links the other day, but I don't think it's streamed. I need to make the clean juice for it, and now we've got the clean power. Dreamcast, yes, we do. We sell loads of them. We've got... is it still here? Yeah, it's in a bag on the desk, but yeah, we do Dreamcast. Mainly, people buy maxed out ones with everything. But again, go to retro6.co.uk. And then you can either do send-ins if you want to send yours in, or you can do ready, I think it's called ready-made or ready-built on the website if you just want to buy one. Nearly through the TikTok chats, and I'll probably have to bounce back on the other chats a second. Welcome from Scotland. Yeah, the camera setup now is, we have Facecam here. This is an OBS-bot. I don't know if it's OBS-bot or OBS-bot. I keep forgetting the names. Tiny 2, I think it's called. Or yeah, Tiny 2, I think that one's called. This one at the side is now, it's been replaced. It was, I've moved it to the server room. It was a Blackmagic Pocket 6K cinema camera. Now it's this OBS-bot Tail 2, so I can move around, pan, tilt, zoom. The one up here is still a Blackmagic, so this is the highest quality one, the overhead. The side view that you're looking at now, to look at that through, this isn't as high quality as the Blackmagic, so this isn't quite as high quality. And I was debating whether to replace this overhead one with another one, but I tried it the other day. And when you go overhead and you zoom in with the Blackmagic, which is the main thing we do, this is kind of what we use this for, and then you do a digital zoom on top of that, you've got like microscope view. So like we can literally check now if this VDP is soldered well without even using a microscope. So, and then look at, like, you know, skin. You can even see fingerprints, and you know, it's mad detailed. When I used the OBS-bot, it was not that detailed. So we can't replace the overhead with it, which means I still have to just lift my hand up and zoom in and out when we want to, but it's not the end of the world. But I don't want to sacrifice the video quality for the sake of a bit of ease on zooming in and out. Are you building a gaming PC? Nope. I build my own. I built these PCs, but no, I'm not. Last resistor, Daniel, last resistor looks on wonky. That was, I don't know when that chat come in. Do you want to let me know what resistor roughly where, and I'll take a look. Have you had any mod chip to a Switch yet? Did one today. We just don't stream stuff like that because we'll get told off. But yeah, we do tons of them, obviously. Yeah, I'm a software dev. If you go to angel6.com, I think it is, you'll learn about my software side. That's up to date finally on the TikTok. I'm just going to have to try and keep an eye out at the bottom of the feed for the TikToks. But if I don't reply to you on there, I'll probably come on and off when we do. Yeah, we can get a zoom demand. My zoom demand is a USB cable hacked into the zoom with a flick switch to the side of me, which I can just pull back down. It's literally sitting up there, to be honest. Yeah, I don't know why I didn't do that. So this was this is me saving a bit of money. So we don't need a zoom demand. What we can have is big, long USB cable. So see this big cable, which is obviously, go back up, all the way up there. So what I did was took apart this zoom motor, soldered into the circuit board, did a super good job with some electrical tape to hold it in place. It's definitely not delicate. You can see the exposed wires coming out there. And then I just hang this over this piece of wood, comes all the way down to the desk, and then in my hand I can have this, and then if I just go to the overhead like this, I can now flick and zoom in and out. I forgot I did that, so stops me having to go up and down, but it doesn't do the focus. I haven't done a focus yet. I wanted to maybe mod it so I can just use one of these. I can do it, obviously I can make the hardware for it, but for now I'll just chuck him back up there until I set it back up. But yeah, I forgot that cable was sitting there the whole time, and I just forgot that that was a thing. I just moved it out of the way because I wasn't filming for a while. And then the good thing with this is I can, if I did wire something in like this, I could probably have memories to press and go back as well. I could just pay for it, like they sell stuff like that, but I don't know. I just begrudge paying for something to do basic features on a camera setup that's way more expensive than everything else. Clean this, right. So that was a lot of chat to cover there with missing that. Let's see if this works. So we were at this desk clean, screen clean. We were going to see now if the VDP was the thing that was bad. So either this will stop booting now because the new VDP is bad and the old was good, or this will boot and we'll get screen. Oh, look at that, probably bad VDP. Could just be failed load, but... And interestingly, we're not really getting contrast there. Oh, yeah, I forget this. Okay, these power and ribbons are all bad, so it's kind of the problem with these ribbons. Not only are you going to get bad boot, you're also going to get bad audio. You've got to really wiggle them to get it in the right spot. Yeah, see if we can at least get one boot so we know if it's... looks like we probably had another bad VDP. Well, I'm guessing the other one was probably good. Yeah, so we probably need to... probably need to fix these ribbons so we can get some consistency at the minute, or we can do a VREF bypass and power from bench to avoid this bit. But let's just do one thing first. Let me check my soldering. I wasn't really overly paying attention when we soldered this on, so let's just do A little 3D visual inspection, because you've got no depth perception on the overhead cam. It's great for visuals, but there's no depth perception. Yeah, I'll run the iron over it because it's not bad, but because it's gone onto an original board where the footprint isn't as nice as the RepCB, probably just going to run the iron down these pins as well. Oh yeah, the Angel 6 videos, yeah, you'll see the hair change colour, the weight go up and down, mostly up, never seems to go down these days. But yeah, I've been doing YouTube videos for Angel 6 for years now, on and off, and you'll see this room if you look through them. You'll see like the desk here where I'm building a PC with the background with nothing in, when like literally that was kind of at the start before this room turned into a Retro 6 room. And then you'll see a spot where I was messing around with different software tutorial styles, and one of them was meant to be a very emotionless, plain, formal video series, but it's such a stunner when you watch it back. It's terrible. It's like I've got zero emotion, and like, oh, it's strange. It was like everything I was doing was like now just casual and on the fly. And then I tried a series where it was all meant to be like, you know, pre-formatted and scripted and stuff, and oh god, it was terrible. Alright, there we go. So that was just because the pins on the original board aren't as clean, but no, that's exactly the same again. So we have just the contrast adjust. Can't even see because everything's in my face, but yeah, there's that contrast adjust. So it is lightly just a dead screen. So I'll recommend to the customer for that one a clean screen and new power and audio ribbons. And that should sort that out. So there's obviously, this is clearly working. Trash Man, no, I've never heard of that one. Right, let's just reflow the LCD ribbon one last attempt before we tell the customer what they need. And I'm sure they'll probably go for it. There's literally a note on it saying to, you know, let them know. You know, if depending on the condition of this, if they want more work. But the condition of this board isn't that bad at all. So I just recommend to them a clean screen, really. They can have the power core board for free, and I'll recommend obviously a clean amp as well. So if we get this off, flip over. So this is the ribbon. If you want to take these off, I come up with a style where you dogleg this under. So you kind of do this. You get the screen flat, push under to cause a kind of dogleg underneath, like that, and then you hot air this, and it just flicks up without doing any damage. That's how you remove them. I did a TikTok video of it, I believe. But we want to just reflow these pins. So what I'm going to do is just, if a hot air is going to fling off, so I'm just going to flux and rub the soldering iron down. They all look good, so I really don't think this is going to change anything, but we might as well give it a go. And we can also get the tweezers and just gently push down as we're doing this. And just go down the line. And this will just repair any potentially slightly lifted pins with the age. These things are, I don't know, better than 30 years old now, are they? Anybody know the release date of the Game Gear? I should know it. I think it's 1990, isn't it, the Game Gear? So 35 years old, if that's right. The amount I've worked on, I should know the release date. Set, and then we want to check, or I want to check, just under the scope for quickness, that no pins under there are bridged together. probably want these on. Yes, they're nicely soldered. No issues there. Let me see if I can get that on camera for you. I should be able to. Set up. So there's the pins. We can probably zoom in now, and you can see what I can see. So that's there. Focus. There we go. And then probably digital zoom a little bit further. And you can see what I'm looking for is the dark brown here. I'm looking for if there's any solder in between the two pins, in between the dark brown, because that's where you get solder blobs. But you can go down. I've scanned all this under the scope. All these pins are good. So there's no issues with them. You can see you can loop down and in, and they're all flowed and soldered on. So I doubt that'll change much, because I don't think we really had a problem there in the first place. But let's try it one more time. Then we'll need to put that screen back around. Otherwise you won't have the backlight. Put that out of the way. How quickly the desk gets messy. There. Get a bag for all these for the customer. Out the way, man. That VDP then is likely good, so we'll just keep him out the way. Bags. Yeah, Rusty, he's literally sleeping at the minute in the living room waiting for me to finish. So I've definitely got to get to him shortly. This will just be a quick stream. What do you use to melt the solder? Soldering iron. So we have soldering iron here, and we have a hot air station as well. Xbox Series S fix. Yeah, I've done toads. I've done loads on TikTok. I think I know the one you're on about, strangely enough. It was near a HDMI port, I believe. It was a voltage regulator. We don't sell those bits anymore. We limited what we sell mostly to our own made products. Yeah, so nothing there at all. So that is a working Game Gear, but the customer needs to decide whether they want to basically buy a clean screen and the ribbons and the audio boards. So that's that one done anyway. At least it's we know where it's at and what state it's at for the customer, which is what they're asking. Basically, they paid for diagnostics with a note then to potentially upgrade. So I'll get back to the customer on that one. That one's ours. That's the customer's, which is there. I think this is international as well. So this one has come from... I can't quite see, but it's definitely an international box. Python programming question. You can do your best. We've got a tiny Discord for that. I don't even know where I show it off. I've got a link on Angel 6. Yeah, if you go to angel6.com, there is a Discord link at the far right on the top menu. It's only a very small one. I don't really push that or promote it in any way, but there are some devs in there, so you could always ask a question in there. Video on the equipment. Yeah, we've had tons of people ask for videos on the equipment setup. So that's something, I show quite a bit of it off each stream, but I'll probably do, I could probably do them whole Amazon basket things where I could set a basket up if people wanted to buy what we've got. I know loads of people love that, so they can literally buy, the same stuff as I use. That needs to move as well. That does. Right, so I haven't got much time. What time are we on? Oh, geez, 6:30. Yeah, I probably haven't got much time to look at anymore. I think it's just a nice quick stream because I've got to get tea done. Maybe got, yeah, I thought it was 6. I can maybe push 15 minutes before I start getting told off. The Retro Computer Museum in Leicester, no, I haven't been there yet. I've had quite a few people mention that recently as well. I've been to the arcade in Bury. That was really good. Clean that off. Tell you what, I haven't really got time to start the Neo Geo yet, so let's do the usual. Let me just chuck together quickly just another RepCB while we're chatting, and then I'll come back on tomorrow, but I'll just see if we can get another Game Gear up and running nice and quick. I've got the CPU and the Z80 and the VDP already off, so we don't need to get an original Game Gear. CPU here, connect to Z80, crystal, should be nice and easy. Not done any ROG Ally batteries, no. I've got a ROG Ally, I think I've got the Ally X, but I've not done any work on them. We don't offer the work on them at the minute. We're too busy with all of this stuff that you can see basically at the minute. All the retro stuff kind of takes over. So first things first, get the crystal on, make a bit of flux. Yeah, we haven't had a bad VDP yet. I'm sure this one that we've taken off the customers now got ours, and we've taken one off the customers, and we've got the same result with screen. So hopefully you'd think you're not going to get a bad VDP, but you could have, because we can't see anything because the screen's bad. So where's my resistor gone? Oh, Zach nicked it, didn't he? I need a resistor for that, which is a 600 ohm-ish. So far we've done, I bet about 10 of the new crystals now with this exact default setup. So the setup with, well, I can't, I'm going to hot air that on, can't be bothered to solder that on. With the default setup resistors, these, so just basically ignoring, well, not ignoring the note, just leaving these resistors on basically and chucking the crystal on, seems to work, which is good because this is a prototype crystal that I had made. So this has now been mass produced, so I've got 3,000 of them, but I'm just not massively confident in them yet. I don't really want to be selling these. So I can zoom out there. I don't want to be chucking these on the board yet because I haven't installed enough myself to be confident that these crystals work, obviously, because they're not the original crystals. I've had them made by a factory. But every time we build one now, I've said we are using this crystal regardless, because we need to field test them. We need to be confident the next time we build a batch of these RepCB, we can chuck these crystals on and not be concerned the customers are going to have issues with, you know, it being the crystal, because then that would be a bad thing, because they're not going to suspect the crystal as bad when it's brand new. I'm sure I say this every day on stream as well. This iron is slowly dying and I just need to replace the tip. That's why it keeps beeping at me. You can see the difference in a cooled down flux versus warm flux. It's literally sticking the foam to it and not even wiping off. Yeah, I'll have to try and pop to that museum. Weekends will work better for me anyway. Just try and drag the missus to there. I'll have to trick her, tell her we're going for a coffee. Unless she's on the stream, and then that's backfired because she knows the plan. And let's chuck on the Z80. Oh, I know, yeah, I've got this is my tub of CPUs that's growing every day. So this is how many bad VDPs we've had in like the last 2 weeks. This tub's going to be full in another few weeks, and then I'm just going to have to start giving away Game Gear CPUs. We've got no use for them unless we come up with some random use for a Game Gear ASIC, just one side. Right, that can go off now we've tinned. Thanks for the compliments on TikTok. I have to glance over at the messages separately from everybody else at the minute. They're not integrating for some reason. Audio equipment, yeah, I've got quite a bit. Not mixers as such, but I've got a ton of DACs and I've got like an XR mixer. I don't use it now. I use simpler setups, but yeah, I've got quite a bit of audio equipment when I was doing all the Blackmagic stream. So instead of doing this through a PC and Streamlabs, I was doing it through ATEM switches and, you know, all the broadcast grade equipment. So I had all my audio processing going through a proper setup. Now it's just in my server room, not doing much at the minute. The bad VDPs, I checked them a few times at the minute to make sure they're definitely bad, so I put them on working Game Gears. And then they just go in the bin, really. But what I'll probably do is keep a few and maybe delete them, just so we can get a visual inside. It's probably, might be worth doing that. If this one's bad, yeah, it's time, isn't it? Yeah, we'll see. If this one's bad, we might crack it open, and I'll need to buy I think it's a metallurgical microscope, will be the best, which I don't have one, for looking at the die, like effectively looking at what's inside the chip, and maybe we can see literally where it's broken. Like, it might give us a hint. It might just be the bond wires, or it might be the actual silicon die substrate. We might be able to literally see what's failing in the VDPs. It'd be quite interesting. Yeah, that looks okay on camera. Let me just glance with my eyes. Yeah, that looks good. What flux do I use? It's Sterry. And I use, at the minute this is an ASM, but I so far like the Sterry-V3. This one's nearly empty already, and then we'll be on to a different Sterry. Right, Z80's on. That's a bit messy. I can hear tears already on the table. That means I'm in trouble. I've just heard the forks clattering and Rusty crying. Oh yeah, Rusty's definitely crying for tea. 77. Right, let's get the VDP on first. Yeah, all good. Dirt. I don't know why I'm aligning that. I never align the chips while I'm even trying. Yeah, is that that repair guy I was on about that's like crazy good at just delidding and then soldering bond wires, and he does like Mercedes key fobs and things like that? Oh, I misread that message off Adam as well. I thought you said, do I have any audio equipment or do I fix it? We used to fix the DJ stuff as well. We used to do amps and things, but no, we don't. At the minute, we're too busy with all of this stuff to really be doing custom repairs. I don't really take any custom stuff on at the minute just because we're too busy. Yeah, I'd love to practice that skill. I've got all the tools for it, but I think I'd need to certainly replace my soldering iron tip because it's failing. I just need an excuse to do it though, because obviously when you're repairing key fobs that cost you £600, it's a bit more profitable than repairing a Game Gear that cost £60 to buy working. So yeah, it'd have to be something of are we missing a pin? No, we're not. That'd be something of a real desire to do it. I'll do it if I get time. We'll delid a few VDPs and see if we can fix them, and well, see if we can even see the problem. But more than likely, most of the chips fail because of bond wires, not because of the actual silicon die. So we probably could repair VDPs. It'd be quite cool to start saying we got a bad VDP and we just delid the thing, fix it, and put some epoxy over the top. That would be quite cool, to be honest. Nobody's doing that at the minute. Wow, misaligning that chip, I had about 7 shorts on it. Now we've got 8. Now we've got 9. I'll move this away so you can't see what I'm doing. There we go, now we've got 7. Now the iron's dying. It's been the most unprofessional stream so far. Cameras don't work, soldering iron's dying, I've got 58,000 shorts on a VDP. Jeez, I literally have, like I'm sure almost every pin I've left a short on. I should probably just reflow this. Stop beeping, stupid iron. There we go. I think if I was going to do it, I'd have to do it. I'd have to do it myself first anyway, because I certainly wouldn't want to charge for something I don't have any skills on yet. But it's definitely interesting. I'll have a go at delidding some next time. Well, like I say, I've chucked most of the faulty ones, but next time we get some VDPs, we'll keep them, and maybe I'll just do a stream on delidding it, and you'll have to practice delidding it first. Well, I suppose you won't delid it, you'll just use a grinding pen to get down into the chip. If you just want to repair, you wouldn't go in there. We might want to have to actually delid it first to see where the bond wires are, and then the next one you're fixing, you could actually scrape down to where you know the pads are going to be. Right, crystals on, don't need that port, don't need that. Chuck a CPU on, and then regardless of whether this works or not, I'll have to go and see Rusty. What? This may work. Iron, nope. This. Oh yeah, like most people won't be able to repair bond wires. I don't even know if I can, but I'm pretty sure I would. And I've seen the principle and I've seen people doing it. I've never really had an excuse to do it. But yeah, that guy mentioned, the guy that was mentioned, CSY Yang. If you look him up on YouTube, he is crazy good at it. Like, I just watch it for the fun. Just drilling down into key fob chips, attaching bond wires through 8 layers. Like, say there's a 10-layer PCB, he'll drill through 6 layers, destroy traces, fix the trace in the middle, and then fix every trace going up through the circuit board to the top. And when you design PCBs, like I've designed 10-layer PCBs, you know how thin them traces are and soldering to them. So seeing that done is pretty cool. I'm sure, like I say, it's a skill I could learn. I just don't know whether I want to do that. It's a hell of a lot of work for, you know, on the boards we work on, there's no value in that level of repair. So it's having, like I say, the excuse to spend that much time on, I don't know what I'm saying anyway. Why am I saying have an excuse to spend time? I just spent about 50 hours on a Mac for £100. It was like, I'll lose so much money when I just get obsessed with repairing something. I don't know why I'm even questioning it. I should just have a go of it. We'll attempt to fix the next VDP. That's bad. How's that? I really hope this one isn't bad now. The only thing I wish that guy on the videos would do is change the music. Like you love watching them, but then every single one you go to, and you just get sick of hearing the same tune. You want to watch the video, but you have to mute it sometimes. It needs to spin up the music a bit. The channel is called, I don't know what the channel's called, but the guy's called YCS Yang, and you'll see him over a microscope generally, with usually like Mercedes key fobs and things, and he'll be drilling into the top of the chip, finding where the bond wires attach, and then using probably that molybdenum wire, whatever we call it, because that's what made me think. I think it was that video I was watching, like his videos, where I was thinking, why are his wires not snapping when they've got to be 0.05 mil for attaching bond wires? If they're any thicker, they're too thick. But he was attaching them, pulling away, attaching. Whereas if you attach silver wire, you attach and it snaps. So that's why I was hunting for strong wire. I don't know how I come across it. But yeah, that wire I've got is ridiculously strong. So we've even got the right wire for the job. We've got all the equipment. It's definitely something we can have a go at. Right, I think my sponge is that dirty now. I think I'm rubbing dirt onto the chips. We're good to have a go, and then off to see Rusty. And then I should be back on tomorrow. Like I say, we've got a Neo Geo AES to do, and then I need to do an Amiga 1200 Prestige build as well. It's like 20 days old now. I think it's for a guy in the US, so I've really got to jump onto that, but I don't know how much of that I'll stream. A lot of it's kind of slow work, but I'll probably do a bit of that as well. Thanks for the comments on TikTok again. I keep forgetting to look over. Glad you're liking the products. Any repairs for Switch 2? No, we haven't even listed the Switch 2 on the site, to be honest. I don't know how much I want to repair the modern stuff at the minute with how busy we are with the retro. We kind of cut back on what we were repairing, and the modern stuff we kind of limited. I can certainly do it. I was one of the first to document a lot of the original Nintendo Switch repairs on the wiki, so I can certainly do that, but it's very time consuming, and I don't know how often they fail. So maybe I'll list them if we get some spare time or quiet time. I might do that. And let's go for a boot. That in there. Clean screen and game. What do we think? Bad VDP? Lining the pins up, it's not that hard. I was a bit lazy on the last one, so usually if you're lined up within roughly the width and a half of a pin, it'll just pull in, you won't get shorts. This one I was super lazy. It was like four pin lengths out, but all that happens if you do that is you just get, how does this switch get so sticky? You just get shorts on the pins like I did, and then you have to clean them off. It's just, sometimes I just sit and look at the chat while I'm soldering and forget what I'm doing and make a mess of it, but if you focus, I don't normally have to use the soldering iron at all. Hey, welcome in. We're not far off finishing up now. I've got to go and see Rusty. We're just seeing if this Game Gear works. Yeah, I designed this board completely. Art of Electronics, no. I don't really read any books, and I'm all self-taught, so I think I own that book. What I like to do is buy books and put them on shelves. I love the look of them, but I don't think I've ever really read a book. other than Sherlock Holmes and Agatha Christie books. I prefer to read. And obviously Jurassic Park. I've read that. I should probably read more, but no, I own The Art of Electronics, but only because it was like a recommendation that, oh, it's really good. But I can design the world's smallest Linux computer. I can design game gears. I can design power circuits, audio circuits, but I could open that Art of Electronics and not know what the very first chapter on capacitors is on about. I'm entirely kind of hands-on experience, and I've learned my own way of how I do things and data sheets, and I've got no formal education at all, so I don't think it'd benefit me much. I think I flicked through some, I think it was like audio processing or filtering things, and I was quite intrigued because there's a way of doing stuff in analog, so stuff with transistors and capacitors and things to make filters and delays and single bursts and stuff, and I'd do that in sort of software or FPGA or figure out a way myself. So I'm sure I'd learn if I actually read that, but it's just not how I learn, really. Right, so we have speakers on, games in, that's there. Let's see. Ooh, working VDP. There we go. So the customer's VDP was good, because this is the customer's VDP, so his screen is obviously bad. That is the fault, so that's another definite for the customer. At least we know his system is good. So there we go. Time to feed Rusty. A BMS is in business management system, battery management system. What are we talking about? Thanks, I'm glad you enjoyed the TikTok vids. I've had a few people want me to post, the classic TikTok style vids. I'll probably still do some of them. Maybe if I can do this camera setup, but the TikTok style videos, I'll do that, because obviously people always miss what you end up doing and then change over. Yeah, see you in a bit, Richard. I'll be jumping off at any second now. But I'll be, like I said, I'll be back on tomorrow. I don't know what time. I might do an early stream, might be 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, or I might just do the coffee first, 7 o'clock-ish, 8, and then jump on at 9 maybe. But I'll probably do one. Battery management system, I've done baby ones, and I've done all the chips. So Clean Juice has got none up there, like lipo charge circuits, and I've done nickel metal hydride, sure, however you pronounce that. Basically, AA rechargeable battery circuits. I've done a bunch of like battery circuits, but nothing over the top. Oh yeah, if you're going to do FPGA, I'd recommend, well, start with just obviously your VDL and your HDL stuff. Learn the basics, but then as soon as you want to start doing something serious, get into Spinal. I want to say it's Spinal. Yes, it's called Spinal HDL. It's really good. Great for doing FPGA work. The problem with FPGA work is the complete lack of documentation. That's your main issue. Do we fix unbranded retro consoles? Not anymore, really. We're too busy. We used to, but we're just that busy with main work. We don't take on much custom work outside of what's on the website now. All right, guys, I'm just going to jump off anyway. Like I say, I'm in a bit of a rush tonight, and I'll see you all again tomorrow. Hope you enjoyed it.